Listen, I absolutely hate it, but I think I agree with the email. Let's talk about it. What's up, captains? Welcome back to The Other Decks. My name's Casual Dobo, and today we're going to be talking about that Basil Hawkins ruling that's been circulating throughout the whole entire One Piece TCG globe. Now, the original question was, if a player attacks with Hawkins and someone does the thrust pad cannon blocker combo that I talked about in my last video, and the blocker is bounced back to hand, does Hawkins restand via its effect? I'll let y'all comment down below. Let me know what you think before you watch the rest of the video, then I'd love to hear about your thoughts afterwards. So I'm going to be breaking down that scenario, what was ruled by Carddass, Bandai's customer support for their TCGs, and what ultimately caused me to change my mind and agree with the Carddass ruling. Now, before we dive into it, I do gotta warn you, this is some pretty specific rules talk here, so if you do need to repeat some sections, no worries. To help out, I will be adding chapters down below, so be sure to check out those sections and repeat them as many times as you need to in order to sort of understand some of the things happening here. But anyway, let's kick this off by actually heading to the Tabletop Simulator to check out what the initial issue is. Alright, so here we are at Tabletop Simulator, and pretend I'm the green player, and I declare an attack into my opponent's leader. My opponent then declares a block, and on the counter step, pays the Dawn for a thrust pad cannon, returning the blocker back to their hand. Now, does Hawkins restand because of its ability, which, for reference on TCG Plus, is Dawn ×1 once per turn. Your turn. If this character battles your opponent's character, set this card as active. But essentially, many players, including myself initially, said that Hawkins would restand, as he entered battle with another character when blocks were declared. However, Carddass has ruled that Hawkins does not restand. And for clarity as to who Carddass is, they have been associated with Bandai for a very long time, but more importantly, have been the source for ruling questions and answers. In the Digimon space, these emails typically act as reference materials for judges in regards to rulings with very specific interactions such as this. So, breaking down what they said that the portion battles your opponent's character means that you have completed 7-1-4 damage step before the timing of 7-1-5 end of battle. And real quickly, those numbers actually refer to the numbers within the Comphrensive Rules themselves, which, if you want to check that out, link is also down below in the description. And they're essentially saying that because damage step was skipped, Hawkins did not battle another character. And the reason why damage step was skipped actually comes from the Comphrensive Rules themselves. So check out line 7-1-2-3 under counter step. If at the end of the counter step, the attacking card or the target card for the attack has moved areas due to some method, proceed not to damage step, but to the end of battle. Quick timeout here. I will say that I was reading this and I thought I actually miswrote the code in my script, but when I went back, there's actually an error in the Comphrensive Rules. Everything in 7-1-2 should be part of the block step, but as you can see on the screenshot here, 7-1-2-3 is actually listed twice. This really should be 7-1-3-3. But the error in the code doesn't affect the context of the rules, it's just coded wrong in the rulebook. But just wanted to bring that up in case that looked or sounded weird. Time in. So what Carddass is saying is that essentially you need to complete the damage step in order for a character to battle another character. Now, some have pointed to the fact that end of battle seems to be a fifth step, as indicated by its code 7-1-5, and that the very first part of this says the battle ends, 7-1-5-1, implying that battle has happened and Hawkins should restand, regardless of what steps were skipped. Unfortunately, I think a large source of the confusion comes from how the word battle is being used here. There is battle, the noun, and then there's battle, the verb. Yes, it's true that Hawkins, simply by declaring an attack, means that he enters battle, the noun. And regardless of how he gets there, it does get to the end of battle step, which means that Hawkins exits battle, the noun. However, because the damage step is skipped as a result of the thrust pad cannon combo, bouncing the blocker back to hand, Hawkins does not actually battle the verb, another character. So it can be both true that Hawkins enters battle the noun, but does not battle the verb and another character. To make this less confusing and for me to stop saying noun and verb the whole time, I'll actually substitute battle the noun with the word combat. Hawkins does enter combat, but he does not battle a character as a result of the thrust pad cannon combo resolving. And this is what Carddass is trying to say. And finally, if relying on the wonkiness that is the English language is a bit of a weak argument, which I acknowledge it can be, I will point out that the last line of 7-1, before anything else is described, actually lays out what battle is. When an attack is made, the game proceeds to battle, and is processed in order from the attack step to the damage step. This line covers a lot of what Carddass is trying to say. That in order for battle to be properly processed, for one character to battle another character or leader correctly, it needs to go through attack step, block step, counter step, and damage step in that order. And as it goes on to say in each of these subsequent steps, if for some reason the attack target has moved areas during attack, block, or counter, the next steps are skipped and it goes straight to end of battle procedures, which I'll point out is not listed under the processing of battle. So yes, the game proceeds to battle when Hawkins declares an attack. However, because the steps of battle were not processed, Hawkins has not battled an opposing character. And if this is truly what they are intending to do, I will firmly acknowledge that the comprehensive rules are really poorly worded, to be honest. You could easily fix this by saying the game proceeds to battle procedures or battle flow, something like that. You don't need to use just singular battle, because that can get confusing when you're trying to wonder, did this thing actually battle another thing? And if later it comes out that I and this, Carddass employee were wrong, I'll delete this video so that, there's no potentially wrong information that's circulating out there. But as it stands, this email is currently the best ruling we have until, I guess Bandai puts out a statement on the One Piece TCG website or something. I'm honestly not really sure what kind of statement people are looking for if they don't trust Carddass, who is part of Bandai's customer support team and handles a lot of their event prizing. So I guess this next question is for those who don't trust the Carddass emails. What form of communication would you like regarding rulings? Because I personally think that the Carddass emails are realistically, in our real world of, corporations and all that, these emails are probably the best. Because the social media and the marketing team surely aren't going to make those ruling decisions and then put them out onto the Facebook page, But I acknowledge that there is distrust of Carddass rulings, especially from those coming from the Dragon Ball Super space. I have heard that, when it came to Digimon, Carddass did take some of the harder questions back to the actual developers of the game, got their opinion, and that added some gravity to these rulings. But should Bandai make a statement about Carddass rulings, either saying yes, they are, good to go, or no, wait for, a more official announcement through the website, right? What should the ideal source for rulings be when it comes to this, or really any Bandai TCG? I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts, because I do think it's a very important element in any game to trust the sources of information. So, I know I've covered a lot of ground, and if you're a fairly casual player, this might not interest you too much. But this will be important for competitive play, as well as potential judges, to know these small nuances, especially in high-stakes situations like the upcoming deck limited battles. Luckily, there is a community group on Discord, the One Piece Card Game Rulings and FAQ Discord, that is organizing and collecting all of these rulings so that potential judges have the latest info easily accessible. And yes, if there is an email that contradicts this ruling or really any other ruling, they will update the rulings on the server. They're also cool because they've also created an unofficial judge test until the real one comes out from Bandai. But this is to help ensure that anyone who wants to judge their local communities has the proper info. If that's something you're interested in, or if you just have any general rules questions, feel free to hit up the Discord. Link will be down below in the description. And if you have any questions or thoughts on this ruling, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to discuss it. And if you found this video helpful, please hit the like and consider subscribing to the channel, as we're going to be covering more One Piece TCG content, from deck profiles to obscure rulings and anything in between. And if anything changes, I'll be sure to give an update in the comments and make a new video. Now, if you wanted to learn more about that thrust pad cannon combo that started this whole ordeal, check out this video where I cover that and a full analysis of the Crocodile starter deck. Thanks for watching, and captains, remember, build what you like, play what you love. And I'll catch you in the next video.